Hi, everyone. This is Kathryn Adams.
And Elizabeth Wallace. And you're listening to Binary System Podcast number 96. And boy, tonight is kind of a catch-all sort of episode since we don't have a Welcome to Night Vale episode to recap yet.
Right. We just want to pile a whole bunch of random stuff into one podcast because things have been a little interesting. You may have heard about the storm that came through, part of the country.
A little bit of rain, sure, nothing much, right? Just the fact that our family was on the west coast of Florida, and at one point the hurricane was heading...
Our family was on the east coast of Florida. You're on the west coast.
Oh, that's right. Sorry.
No, our family's on the east coast of the country, but on the west coast of Florida. Damn it, now I'm confused.
Thanks. Can I mind if I start that one again?
Sure, yes. Go right ahead.
Okie dokie. Our family's on the west coast of Florida, and at one point the hurricane was heading for them so directly they might as well have had a magnet on them. I mean, it's just every single chart that I saw, I'm like, it's going straight for them.
Right for their street, it almost looked like. I mean, I was checking the National Hurricane Center on an hourly basis watching the track of this thing, and I'm zooming in, like the eyes going directly over them. But at the last second, it jogged over to the east a little bit, so which is good because apparently if you are on the east side of the hurricane, that's the bad side where the tornadoes form, apparently.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so the central part of Florida is kind of getting slammed with, the rain and the storms and the destruction and some flooding, and Jacksonville hasn't seen flooding like this in centuries, so it's been pretty bad for a lot of people.
Yeah, Jada had mentioned, I've been friends with Jada for a really long time, and she was watching CNN because she knows our whole family's down there, and she said, I have heard the word Sarasota on CNN more times in the past 3 hours than I've heard out of your mouth in the 10 years that I've known you. That's how much everybody was freaking out.
Yeah.
And Mom and Dad and Hannah all stayed there. They're on Sarasota Bay, which Hannah says is protected from the storm surge. They never thought it was going to be bad. I've already talked with Mom. I'm like, I was this close to getting on a plane and throwing you guys in the car. I was like, why aren't you leaving?
Well,
everyone's fine.
Mom and Dad are in a cinder block house, very old style Florida, one-story house. That huge Cuban laurel next to them is now dead, and it's had most of its branches removed, so we didn't have to worry about that falling on them. But, I liked reading Hannah's Twitter feed about that, talking about losing power and them heating up leftover ham for dinner using candles.
It sounded like quite the hurricane party. Hannah said that a family game in the Wallace household is where the fuck did I leave my drink? That is something. And Hannah said that doing it in the dark by candlelight is the pro level, and she's been training for this all her life. And I'm like, yep.
The really stupid thing is, it was really dangerous, and they had to really scramble to get everything under cover, and there was no idea really if, the storm would actually hit dead center on them and maybe just rip the roof off the house. And I was kind of sad I was missing it.
Me too! Isn't that awful? Now that everything's fine, I mean, at the time I was panicking. I was thinking, oh my God, what if something bad happens? And now I'm like, boo, that sounded like that would have been fun. It's terrible. It's awful.
Yeah,
but anyway.
So hopefully this will not impact your travel plans coming up in a few days.
Yeah, I am flying to Florida. Mom, cross your fingers, is hopefully having this it's a surgery on her leg and her foot with some tendons and ligaments, and it's going to help a lot of the pain that she's been having for a while, but she hadn't been able to have it because Dad's been sick, and then it's scheduled for this week, but hurricane, so it depends on if the hospital is all up at 100% and can do the surgery, and whether or not the airport is at 100%, but it's making our travel plans and our planning for this podcast a little on the wonky side.
Yeah, very much so. So anything goes.
Yeah. So the plan at this point is this week is a podcast. Next week is going to be a very special photo gallery because the next week after that, the day the podcast comes out, is September 28th. And that is the 30th anniversary of a TV show called Friday the 13th, this series. 30-year anniversary. Can you believe it's 30 years already?
30 years, and we love this TV show to a stupid level, which is appropriate because at times it can be a pretty stupid show.
Oh, it's just so ridiculous in places. We found, all right, if you go on YouTube and search Friday the 13th, the series, someone has posted, I think, every single episode, and we only watched the first 2 seasons because after that, one of our favorite characters left and we just didn't want to watch it anymore. And it only lasted like half a season after that. But you were wondering, Kathryn, you said, oh my God, how did I not know this was up here? And how the heck is it staying up? They posted it about a month ago.
Oh,
so
okay.
It's probably...
So time to get a move on with watching these things before they go away, because I've been disappointed about that sort of thing before.
So for a limited time, go onto YouTube, Friday the 13th, the series, also called Friday's Curse, I guess, to differentiate it from Friday the 13th, the series, because that's what you have to explain to everybody when you say, oh, did you ever watch this show, Friday the 13th, the series? And they're like, is that with Jason the Mask? You're like, no.
Totally different. Totally different.
But yeah, so we don't want to talk about it too much. I even have underlined on my piece of paper here a brief mention of Friday the 13th, the series, because we want to do a whole episode just about that show.
Yep.
And we're going to time ourselves. We're going to pick our favorite episodes and give ourselves a timer with a really ridiculous ringer to let us know when we've talked too much. Because, God, just rewatching these episodes, yes, it's dumb. And it's also so awesome.
And it's definitely the characters, because, the show... The idea for the show, the concept was fascinating, but we wouldn't have kept on watching if we hadn't wanted to find out what was going on with those characters.
Yeah, it's probably one of our earliest examples of shipping the hell out of a couple on TV, isn't it?
Yep, really is. And one of the reasons why we eventually decided that we shouldn't do that, because it was the curse of death for our favorite characters if we did that.
God, yes. We ship a couple characters together, and one of them will definitely die.
Yeah.
But we'll talk more about that. So in 2 weeks, you'll hear us talk more about that. 1 week from now is when I'm going to be traveling, so that's when we're going to do a photo gallery, and it is, of course, going to be a photo gallery of as many Friday the 13th pictures as we can scrounge around online, and I'm sure a lot of them are going to be awesome pictures of Mickey's awesome hair. She had the greatest hair.
Awesome. You must watch the Halloween episode, because her hair is literally twice as awesome in the Halloween episode.
God, and I've been seeing the eye makeup from pictures of her on that one. Is that the one where she's got the huge swaths of black going out to her temples and everything?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Through the whole episode.
If there's anything that's as awesome as her hair, Ryan wears some pretty awesome shirts. I've been seeing some of them, like this blue and white striped shirt with the giant shoulder pads in it. I'm like, oh, the 80s.
Yep.
Anyway, so much for a brief mention of Friday the 13th. But to segue onto other things from the 80s that we still love today, you were going to talk about the thing that's been sucking away all of your time lately.
Yes, the Transformers Earth Wars game. And I am just cursed that I found a video game that I like, and it's on my phone, which means I can never get away from it, which is what I'm worried about every time I start a new game on my phone. It's like, if I get hooked on it, I'm just not going to be able to step away. So yeah, I'm still enjoying the heck out of that. I think I'm at level 43 now, something like that.
Wow.
So, but the interesting thing is that, Vincent, our friend Vincent, and I created an alliance, and I called it Well Fine, because I was basically doing it as, you have to meet certain milestones, and one of them is joining an alliance. So I was like, well, fine. Okay, well, that's to be the name of my alliance.
Nice.
So I invited Vincent, and he joined it, and, that was fantastic, because I find out that you, get double the points, whatever, when you're doing an event, that sort of thing. So, all of that's fine, and then we're not in an alliance together anymore. And it's okay, it's completely all right, but, Vincent had said, hey, this is fun, but you and I should really, join some higher level alliances so that we can earn even more points and participate in wars. And it's a darn good idea. And the first thing I thought was, oh, Vincent thinks we should start seeing other alliances.
It's not him, it's you,
It's like, what, am I not enough for you anymore? No, wait a minute, I can change.
God, talk about the whole online experience creating such fake problems that you never knew you were going to have before.
Never realized I would have this problem. It's like, I feel slightly rejected, even though that was a good idea. And I joined another alliance, and it's great, and I'm making a lot more points. So, they were all worked out in the end.
That's fine. You didn't need him anyway, right? There's other alliances in the sea, right?
It really is. So yeah, if you guys haven't been playing Transformers Earth Wars, that's really fun. I'm liking that a lot.
Now, are you saying that because it's really fun, or because you want other people to join so you can start alliances with them instead? So.
Well, that might be a reason too.
You're a pusher.
Yeah, well, we've both left it, so I don't know if the Well Fine alliance even exists anymore. I mean, you can't search for an alliance unless you're not part of one already, which confused the hell out of me until I figured out. So yeah, look around. If you guys want to join an empty alliance named Well Fine, have at it. Let me know. Send a comment.
You come back later, you're like, oh no, the Alliance is doing okay without me.
Oh no, that's always the worst.
Well, on a related note, Transformers Lost Light issue number 9 is out Wednesday as time of this recording, as time the episode drops the day before, because time is weird. And I liked it, and it's definitely going in an interesting place. And once again, James Roberts is kind of giving us a little bit more of an idea of how, not just how Transformers work, but how they interact with other races that aren't humans or Transformers. And it's just kind of an interesting idea that you're like, they've been around for millions of years and they are not the only people out in this universe. So you bump into some other people and see how they behave, and it's on a planet with a marketplace. We haven't seen enough of the marketplace yet as far as I'm concerned. I do love a good alien marketplace.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you'll like it. It's more information is coming out. Also, Nautica does some interesting things that I didn't expect of her, so I'm curious, because I know Nautica seems to be one of your favorite characters.
Oh, yes.
So I'm curious to see what you think about it.
I've liked her ever since she first made an appearance.
Okay, well, then I look forward to seeing what you think of her current actions. So there's that.
Okay, all right.
So that's it for Transformers news, but then we wanted to point out the reason why Kathryn and I have not finished watching The Defenders, even though it's been like weeks now, and there's only, 8 episodes? 6 episodes?
8 episodes.
Yeah, still haven't finished it.
And that is because Elizabeth has discovered the TV show that some of you may have heard of called Narcos. So, Nathan and I are currently working our way through the 3rd season, which just recently dropped. So it's hard to let go. I mean, you have to you get sucked into this world of drug dealers and awful people.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it was recommended, because you like Breaking Bad, but really the only similarity is kind of a gritty reality about drug deals. But other than that, I mean, this takes place in like the late 70s and early 80s. Mm-hmm. A lot of it is in Spanish. If you don't dig the subtitles, you're missing out, but you probably don't want to watch this one because it's a lot of it. Even Hannah had mentioned something about how she wasn't sure she was going to be able to get into it because of that, right?
Right, because the bulk of the story is the Spanish language parts, and she was wondering if maybe she wouldn't be able to connect with that. She found it more compelling than the English language parts, and I have to agree because, the English language parts are all the narcotics agents who are trying to capture these horrible, horrible people, and then everything else is the horrible people and their families and their work dynamics and everything that goes into making this huge mega corporation, basically, of drug dealing, and it's really intriguing.
Yeah, and it's also a little bit of a documentary, I guess, because it is based on real events, mm-hmm. and it's telling about what the cocaine trade was like in the early 80s, because apparently that's when everybody was doing cocaine, and just like so much money coming in that the drug dealers are stuffing $1 million inside a couch because they have no other place to put it. They're burying it in the jungle. They're giving it away to poor people, not because they're particularly nice, but because they don't have anything else to do with it, I mean, it's really hardcore. And that the DEA agent that you follow started out chasing down hippies with weed, and then he moves on to the streets of Miami and teenagers with AK-47s, so it's a really interesting story.
Yep. The whole Pablo Escobar story is, I mean, they dramatized it, but from what I understand, they didn't have to dramatize it much because he really was a larger-than-life character.
I put it on because I wanted to watch The Defenders, but I had a project I wanted to work on, so I said, people have been telling me about Narcos, so I'll put this on. And yeah, like 15 minutes in, and now I can't work on my project because I have to read the subtitles. Yes, so There you go. Shot myself in the foot. But it's really, I'm enjoying it. It's really good.
Well, when it comes to Spanish language, Hannah also made a recommendation, the website Duolingo.
Oh, really?
And it is a website where you can go to learn a second language. And I highly recommend that. I'm trying it with Spanish now because it's time. I need to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
There's no excuse for not knowing a second language anymore. It's just kind of essential nowadays. And we seem so provincial, I'm sure, to the rest of the world for only being able to speak English.
Even more so with me. I mean, I'm like practically walking walking distance to the border. I mean, it's not that close, but still, it's pretty close. And yeah, me not having a really good grasp of Spanish. I took Spanish for a few years, but it was a pretty laid-back class, and it's amazing. You don't take the class for like 3 or 4 years and you forget everything. So I need to do that.
Yeah, well, I just remember you talking about working in the bookstore and being able to upsell to a Spanish-speaking customer.
Yes. And it's just, we were always encouraged to do, buy 4 books, get the 5th one free. And this, our managers were always leaning us, like, you got to recommend it to everybody. And so the manager, the guy came up and I said, oh, did you want to buy a 5th book? And he said, ¿qué? Or something in Spanish. And my manager was like, what are you going to do? And I said, compre cuatro libros y número 5 es gratis. He said, es gratis? I said, sí, es gratis. He said, oh, okay, walked away. And my manager was like, wow. So the one time I friggin' needed it, it was right there. Of course, I probably was speaking like kindergarten Spanish, but whatever. It was there. I had a witness. Well, that'll wrap us up for this week. Short episode, because we're just, throwing everything in the kitchen sink at you to try and get some housekeeping out of the way. So tune in next week to PixelatedGeek.com, where we will have a giant photo gallery of all things Friday the 13th, the series. Also, there's not a lot of fan art out there. We may have to do something about that. There needs to be more Friday the 13th fan art.
Let me tell you, there's not a lot of fan fiction out there either. I think there's at least one person that has written a whole slew of fan fiction with their own author's character.
Oh, no.
Nope,
Leave your OCs out of my fanfic. Yeah, which is hilarious. That was the very first fanfic I ever wrote, I think, was after our favorite character left the show. I had to write a fanfic and sort of fix the situation. I was in high school. It's pretty dramatic, but, fanfic is good for the soul. I don't let other people read it, though. Not that one. They can read my other fanfiction, not that one. So yeah, check out PixelatedGeek.com for the photo gallery. And then, of course, Kathryn's book reviews and the comic book reviews. And Jordan just had a Destiny 2 sort of, they had their beta version out. And so he did a review of that and a gameplay video. So that's up on the site. Stephanie does photo galleries. So check out all of that. PixelatedGeek.com. Ooh, Jada put up some new pictures and a featurette from the upcoming Lego movie. She's very excited about that.
Oh, cool. Yeah, and I understand Leland might possibly have a podcast coming out soon.
Oh, yes, very soon. Actually, at time of this recording, it's going to be up really soon, like really, really soon. And I'm still not entirely sure if I'm supposed to tell you what it is, so I won't. But yeah, check out that, PixelatedGeek.com. So we won't talk to you next week. We will talk to you in 2 weeks, but one way or the other, we will see you guys eventually, because we're specific.
Talk to y'all later. Oh, hang on, you're frozen.
Oh, you're frozen.
Ah, crap, you're frozen. All right, I'm not going to hit stop here, but you are totally, totally frozen. Da-na-na-na-na-na-na. Come on, Skype. All right, sending the instant message, and Lord only knows how much longer you've gone on.
In the eye of a hurricane, there is quiet for a moment. Hello, Sky. Come back.
Did we lose the... we just lost the call. Fuck. Okay. Well, let me try this again.
I am calling you. Why aren't you picking up?
Rebooting the router, because I think the problem is most likely on our end. Everybody drink.
There you are.
Hello.
I'm still recording.
I'm still recording too. I never stopped. I'm sitting here blithering onto me. It's like, do I even have a connection? What's with this stupid router?
Do you remember where we left off? Do you remember where we should...
Hang on. I still can't see you, though.
Oh, 1 minute. I probably didn't hit the thing.
Oh, spinning. It's spinning.
There we go.